Our Olympic coverage continues now with a two-time Olympic speed skater.
Joining us today, former Olympian Dave Tamburrino. You're also Director of Development, Corporate and Foundation Relations at Marquette University.
Very good.
You have a long title.
Perfect.
So speed skating, is this something that your family did, or how'd you go into that sport?
That's a great question. So I was a high-energy 5-year-old kid, and you look at the wintertime, you got to find...
Mom was like, run him.
Yeah. So friends said, bring him on down to the rink and see what happens. And I just enjoyed being in the environment, seeing the other kids there, and turns out it was fun. It wasn't great in the beginning, but you learn that over time.
Now, this is interesting because you're not a kid, but you have recently qualified to compete in the upcoming Olympic trials, and you've been away from the sport for, what, 17 years
17
now?
years, yeah. So about a year ago, a friend of mine who's 46 talked me into getting back into the sport. And I listened, and then after a few races, I posted a qualifying time. So, it's a thrill just to be able to try out for the next Olympic team.
Were you surprised that you could make the qualifying time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in fact, when a lot of people found out that I was skating again, they said, are you going to, try out for the Olympics again? They said, I'm just trying to see how fast I can go. And then I'm a dad. I have 3 kids and my wife, and they were all there the day I qualified for the Olympic trials.
That's neat.
So that was fun.
So I guess if you did compete you're old enough to be some of these athletes' father.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, and that's had some funny discussions, at the finish line after, maybe I've finished ahead of some of these younger kids. I'm just trying to close the gap right now between now and the next 12 months to see how fast I can go. But things are looking good, and the results are coming.
That's great.
And I don't want to get too far off track,
sure.
but what are your tips to middle-aged weekend warriors who might want to, continue to be competitive?
That's a great question. I think one thing that we all need to remember is recovery time is extremely important. I think give yourself an extra day or two after an intense workout. The others are some of the basics that we all forget as we get older. Getting a good night's sleep, staying hydrated, eating the right foods, maybe staying away from alcohol, things like that. And then, there's all the other basics too, like working out regularly and stretching. But you'd be surprised, a lot of the same concepts apply.
Were you able to get back into that mental zone that's required to be an Olympian? Talk a little bit more, too, about what is required, to be a qualifier or be an athlete.
Oh, well, one of the things that came back very quickly was the competitive edge. I had been around for, 20 years racing and 17 years away from the sport. It kind of, you get away from that zone, but once you go to the finish line, you're back home again. It all kind of comes around. Now, one of the nice things is, it takes a village to raise, a competitive athlete, let alone an Olympic medalist. Every time you see someone on the podium, it might be that one person or the team of 4 people, but the reality is it took hundreds of people to get them there. Could start with mom or dad taking them to practice, could be the babysitter to watch the kids, could be that high school coach or even junior high coach. So really, it takes a perfect storm of, competitive edge, discipline. You have to have a certain amount of physicality involved, but then there's all the other things too. It requires a lot of support.
Great stuff. Dave Tamburrino making us all feel young.
Yeah.